Southern High Coach's Corner is service of the Laughlin Hovitt Funeral Home, Wymore Insurance, and J&M Liquor.
The Laughlin Hovitt Funeral Home in Wymore has been serving southeast Nebraska for many years and is pleased to be of help in your time of need. It's been their endeavor to come to your aid with the utmost quickness in your funeral arrangements. They've been proud to serve you in the past and are pleased to help bring you this broadcast. Laughlin Hovitt Funeral Home in Wymore, funeral arrangements and understanding is what you'll receive. Laughlin Hovitt Funeral Home in Wymore, a proud part of the community.
J&M Liquor in Wymore is your stop for everything you need heading into the weekend. Cold beer, tobacco products, hard liquor, all of it is in stock when you need it. Your wine, beer, and spirits store, open until 10 every night and until midnight Friday and Saturday on the south side of Wymore. Just cold beer and hard liquor. That's J&M Liquor in Wymore, proud supporter of Southern Athletics.
Bigger savings are yours when you package your home or farm with your auto. Call Kelsey or Angela today at Wymore Insurance and compare your current policy. See how they can help you save money. Count on the #1 farm insurance company in Nebraska, Farmers Mutual of Nebraska. Call Kelsey or Angela with Wymore Insurance today and start saving. Phone 402-645-3332. That's 402-645-3332.
I am joined now by head coach of Southern, Mr. Kane Hookstra. Coach, you dropped your last game 44-0 to Freeman. We talked about all season that it's not necessarily the scoreboard, how the game proceeded. I did see there were 7 penalties, though. How tough does that make that to kind of find a rhythm early on in a game?
Yeah, and that was one thing that we addressed during the course of the game at halftime, and then again after. Is it just when we're struggling to get things rolling on offense, particularly those self-inflicted penalties and setbacks we just can't have them. We have a hard time overcoming them, and they stall out drives, and it was just difficult for us to overcome. A couple of times those penalties were us jumping off sides when we're on defense, and both of them were on 4th down. So that was just crushing. To give them another set of downs, and we had them stopped, but we helped them out and bailed them out on a couple occasions. And that's really tough to overcome, and something that I need to do a better job of enforcing in practice. And we have addressed it, but I guess clearly it needs to be covered a little bit more extensively.
You kind of get into the heat of the battle on the field, and they do happen, but that is the worst. I've seen many games where, especially on those 4th downs or those long 3rd downs, those penalties do come back to bite you at the end. Besides that, though, I know it was tough to find a rhythm, but what do you take away from this game in terms of what you saw good and what you obviously can see some improvements on? Yeah,
so I mentioned on defense, we got them in situations where we could get stops, and we had offside. So I thought our defense stepped up early. On offense, we tweaked a couple things. We installed a heavy package where we were two tight ends, and we had 3 backs in the game, and we just kind of tried to run power football, and we had some success on it, which is something that I think we're going to have to continue to incorporate into our game plan as a package, and that was a positive thing. So we build on that. We leaned heavily on our defense. I think I've mentioned that to you before, and we're going to have to continue to do that going into our next opponent versus Palmyra.
Yeah, and I was looking at your schedule, and it's hard to believe you guys have 2 games left. So with only 2 left here in the season, you talked about doing some more packages and some more interesting things. I guess for you as a coaching staff is a little bit about that, maybe trying to figure out what you have possibly going into next year as well.
Yeah, it does. It kind of gives us a peek ahead. Certainly not going to look too far ahead because we owe it to our senior class to try to get them in a situation where they can be successful. But yeah, you develop some depth this time of year as well, and that's something we consider. But it's still polishing our fundamental skills that we've got to make sure that we put ourselves in a position where we can be successful.
You talked about it still there, owing it to your senior class, and I got that question here for you in a couple weeks, so we'll get to that. But looking at Palmyra this week, your next opponent coming up, they seem to thrive off the quarterback, setting on a 5-1 record, a good team up there. How do you kind of keep that offense in wraps, and what do you want to see from your team in this game?
Yeah, they're a talented bunch. They're fast and they're physical. They're the things that we want to accomplish. They run a spread offense, but they're pretty balanced, both run and pass. So in order to kind of slow them down, we've got to have sustained drives where we possess the ball for a nice length of time, because they're very quick strike. Their quarterback can run it and throw it, and he throws a really nice ball, and he's a threat to take it to the house every time he runs it. So, it's going to be a challenge. They're a top 5 or 6 team for a reason, and they'll be a challenge. And we're going to have to emphasize great effort in practice this week, and then bring in great effort again on Friday night.
Effort and competitiveness is always the key, it seems like, every week, regardless. So, Coach, best of luck with Palmyra coming up. 2 more weeks left. Hopefully you get the best of luck. Can't wait to talk to you 2 more times. So 1 more time next week.
You bet. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Southern High Coach's Corner, a service of the Laughlin over at Funeral Home, Wymore Insurance, and J&M Liquor.